Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, making some really good trades, and yep, let's just get into it. Right now, Bitcoin back up to 21,500. Honestly, not moving too much, just inching up bit by bit, trying to get above this resistance right now. But in my opinion, this could be short-lived if we do get a pump. I think that if we do get a pump, you might come back to a high of potentially 22,800 to 23,000 and retest this line as resistance and potentially start to roll over before going back down to 17,000. And I know a lot of people don't think that this is going to happen. They're still very bullish. Of course, yeah, I could see the possibility of the market's going higher and Bitcoin going back up to 28,000, but obviously right now the probabilities are not in our favor for that. And we're in our favor when we were above this trend line and we're making higher highs, but we can see that we did come back up to 25,500, retested it as resistance basically, and now came rolling over all the way back down here. Again, we can still find some support around the $20,400 to $20,500 area, but if that does not hold, you're going to take a look at 19,800, which was your 2017 all-time high. And if that would be your line in the sand. If we go below that and confirm, then you will most likely start to look at the $17,000 levels for that low as support. But honestly, if that starts to go, you could probably take a look at that 300 weekly moving average, which is, where is it? Right here. Oh, it's also around 17,200 or 300 if you will, but I would not put it out of the realms of possibility that we could go down to the 400 weekly, which is at 13,000, and then you have your 500 weekly basically at 10,500. So it's not the craziest thing to say. I know a lot of people are very, still very bullish, but let's take a look at the facts. What's going on in the stock market? We can see that the S&P already had a bit of a down thrust right here from running into these resistance levels and basically tagging that 200-day moving average. And yeah, we could definitely come back up, potentially maybe run into this resistance around September 1st, which would be, in my opinion, max resistance, because you're now running into this trend line, which is cutting into this trend line, and then it's cutting into this level right here, which was these previous tops, which was basically the top as well, and it ran into the 200 day, and you would obviously, the 200 day is going to meet up around this area as well. So you're going to get a huge amount of confluence for a potentially double top pattern to form, and then you would make your lower low. Obviously, I don't know if it's gonna be that steep. Maybe we'll spend a couple days up here, and we'll start to roll over after that. But yeah, anything can happen. Yeah, obviously we could break out and go to new all-time highs, but obviously I don't think the probabilities favor that scenario. But you never know what could happen. Maybe the war ends in Ukraine and oil price goes back to $60 a barrel and inflation drops back down to 2%. But that's fantasy world, and we're in the real world here. And if you want to live in the Fed's world, then that's you have those levels of inflation. But we're in the real world right here, and there's a lot of the economic problems are real. We can see that the housing sales are actually plummeting, and that's something I've been talking about for months. And someone mentioned in the Discord yesterday, I don't know if I pinned it. I think I pinned it, but they were telling me, you called this months ago, Mickey, but don't you think plummeting home sales are the perfect excuse for Jay Powell to shift from hawkish to dovish and the markets to rally on that news? Yes, I do think that they will pivot once they see housing start to plummet, but housing sales plummeting is not enough for them to pivot. Housing prices are still sky high and have barely dropped, in my opinion, and they need to drop a substantial amount for Jerome Powell to actually do anything in that scenario. So housing prices have not come down that much, and or if any at all. Some people are still selling their homes at ridiculous prices even with these interest rates, and that's probably why housing demand has dropped so much, but price will follow suit. It is just delayed. Obviously, none of this is financial advice, but they are facts, so please take them into account. And yeah, that's why I ultimately think the markets will roll over, make a new lower low. These things will happen. It takes time to play out, right? Just like I was talking about on the weekly time frame for market cipher on Bitcoin. Obviously, this was a thesis that played out very, very well. It was a theory that I had that once we cut into that red money flow on the weekly time frame, we get a substantial drop, 50 to 60% on average, depending, obviously looking at the previous market cycles that we've had. 2014, 59% drop. 2017 or 2018, 51% drop right after we crossed that red money flow. A couple weeks go by. For this one, it was 8 bars. This one, it was 12 bars. And this one, I was speculating was going to be 4 bars, but obviously I was pushing it. But yeah, ultimately we did roll over. We did make lower lows, and we actually did not take 12 bars. We actually took 8 bars or 9 bars, I guess you could say, to find our low, which was around this area right here. A 59.99% correction, a 60% drop. But this does not mean that we cannot go lower. We absolutely can go lower, right? We could see that we didn't actually bottom out until we got our second green dot here on Bitcoin, right? We got our first green dot on the weekly time frame, basically kind of right at when the money flow was crossing into the red, and then we rolled over and found another green dot, right? Just because we have one does not mean it has marked lows. Yes, we could have found a temporary bottom, which looks like we kind of did after rallying from these levels, but we could easily roll over. VWAP's coming down, money flow is still in the red. We could come back down and make a lower low. Okay, it's not out of the realms of possibilities. And the people who are completely in denial and cannot see the other possibilities in the markets and think that it can only go their way because the hodl and you hold to the moon and it goes up, and they're going to be in quite a shock if it does go down a little bit more. So this doesn't mean I'm not holding Bitcoin for the long term and I'm in a long position, right? Of course I'm holding Bitcoin. Look at this whole channel is based on cryptocurrencies. Of course I'm holding Bitcoin for the long term, right? But it doesn't mean that we can't. I'm just talking about how price can, and we're speculating on what could be happening in the price in the future. And so far I've been right. The price has come down, and on top of that we got a big weekly red diamond, which we've never gotten on Bitcoin, and we did come down 60%. So let's see what happens in the coming months. Obviously, if you guys want to see my trades, you guys can join the Discord. The link's in the description. We have leverage trades, spot trades, stock trades, and I share my investment portfolio with you guys, what I'm doing with my money. Obviously, none of it is financial advice. You guys can do whatever you want. My profit loss win ratio is in the description. And talking about winning, we actually closed a couple profits lately on the markets. Well, we actually just covered them right now. We closed a winning position on Uber. We shorted right at these levels right here, coming in line with that 200-day moving average as well, around the $32 area, and we shorted that, bagged a beautiful 10% profit. Actually our entry was around this area right here, so we shorted around here, and then boom, bagged a beautiful 10% profit. And then you can see that today is starting to move up a little bit, but ultimately, obviously, Uber can go a little bit lower, but always play it safe, take your profits, right? Because you never know. Nothing is guaranteed in these markets. Closing another short on Texas Instruments, as you can see, running into some beautiful resistance here. This one obviously was not as big of a win, but a win nevertheless, and adding, those profits, they stack up. Small wins add up. Don't need to chase for the hills. Going all in on that one trade, trying to make it big every single time, you're going to get wrecked. You will most likely lose all your money, and then you're going to beg the question, why didn't you just pay the small fee to copy some of my trades instead? I'm just kidding. You guys can do whatever you want. And we'll take a look at our final trade that we closed today as well. I believe it was a long position. Let me just double check what we closed today. Oh yeah, we closed a little bit of a trade on Canopy Growth, bagging another 10% win as well. As you can see, Canopy Growth has been a very volatile stock, up 17%, down 17%, up 13% today. So obviously just take your profits. Let's see what happens in the coming months. But yeah, you guys get what I'm saying. Obviously, we could probably go a little bit higher, but you know, I wouldn't hold everybody to it. Maybe we can go up to 30, but you know, you guys know where I stand. Love you guys. Thanks for supporting the channel, everyone. If you guys want to join the Discord, the link's in the description. And if you guys don't want to, you know, join the Discord, you guys can show your support another way by smashing a like, leaving a comment, telling me what I do wrong, what I do good. Love you guys. Peace.